Hello, today is about teaching you what I do during a live on TikTok or wherever this might be. But this is specifically talking about TikTok. So I'm going to be making references to TikTok and what I say during a TikTok live. I hope that is I'll be able to go through all of these slides in 30 minutes, but we shall see. I've not done this training yet, so let's get going. So again, this is a training on what to say, not how to go live, but this is actually what I say when I'm on a live, and how do I engage with the audience, and how do I do, and this would apply for any time that you're doing a live event on social media. So number one, I have to title what I'm doing on the live. So I talk about income, make income online, because if you say the word money, that may flag you. Right now, TikTok is being very finicky, so you have to make sure that you read the terms and conditions and the policy so that you don't say any words that will put you in violation. Then I explain that I'm going to be talking about how to make extra income online without a big following and without experience, and just by promoting a done for you digital product if I was promoting a digital product. So by the way, this training is based on UBC. This is for one of my private clients. This is for UBC and a done for you digital product, but you can change UBC and a done for you digital product and then change everything accordingly. So throughout the live, I will talk about how I'm Maria Lupita. I'm a social media marketer in a school, SKOOL membership specialist, and that I'm an educator, I'm a strategist, and I'm a visionary. And then I say something to be funny to break the ice, because I'm very I'm a closet introvert, and I'm very shy. I'm shy to a degree that people don't realize. So I will say something interesting, and someone I know share that going to bed early and leaving my house and not going to a party is the my ideal life right now, and my childhood punishment has now become my adult goal. So I say something like that or something similar to this that will break the ice with me and the audience. And while I'm on the audience, I'm always as soon as I turn on my camera, the live is on. So I have to be ready as soon as it goes on. So as soon as I turn it on, if I see user 123, then I say, hello, user 123, where are you coming in from? And a lot of people will come and will go. So I will just acknowledge every single human that comes through my life, even if they only stay there for 1 second. And then I talk a little bit my story, why I'm here. So my story is about my dad and how when he got sick. So I'm not going to tell you about my story. You just have to formulate your story so that you can say it quickly and effectively and applicably into what you're promoting and why you're promoting it, so you sound with conviction. I'm very convicted about telling the whole world that they should be doing digital marketing, and that they should learn how to do social media marketing, that they should learn how to sell a digital product online. And I am convicted about that. I'm constantly reminding them to follow me to get the LINK, because if you cannot say link, because then you'll get flagged and you get in violation. So you have to remind them to follow you, to tap on the screen throughout the live, because that is your oxygen, or at least that's what I say. So everything that I'm going to be saying right now is what I say. You can take or leave whatever works or doesn't work for you. Next, I tell them that if I were to get kicked out, what happens is that sometimes TikTok acts out, so that if I were to get kicked out, I'll be right back, so that for them to just hang tight and then to just come back. And then throughout this live, I'll keep reminding them that I'm here to share with them about how to make extra income online without a big following, without experience, and with just promoting a done for you product. And I remind them who I am. I also ask questions. I also ask, have you ever wondered how can I make it easier to make extra income online? How can I get clients to discover me? How can I find clients that are looking for me, who can't wait to work with me, who are looking forward to work with me? So then I go throughout all these points, and then I tell them about what they're going to be discovering through my life, and I tell them why digital marketing, why I feel that that's the solution, And then I go through every one of these, and then I tell them that I'm going to make 2 promises. My first promise is that I'm going to give them the 5 steps on getting paid online, but just simply sharing a done for you digital product, and so that I can have my ideal clients looking for me. And then I tell them that my second big promise is that oftentimes, and I always, by the way, I always say my full name, because while there's a lot of Marias, there's a lot of Lupitas, there's only one Maria Lupita. So I recommend that you do the same. So I always say, everybody says, Maria Lupita, can you just help me do what I can do to promote something and make extra income online? And then I tell them, you're at the right place. And then I go through every one of these questions one by one. And then at the end, once I go over all these questions, I ask them, which one are you? Are you 1, 2, 3, or 4? And then I read them the questions again, because even I can't remember all 4 of them. Next, I go about that whatever motivated them to say whatever choice they did. Then I say me too, because it's true. At the beginning I was looking for extra income, and then they became this, and then became that. So I've been 1, 2, 3, 4, or all of them. So I say me too at some point or another. And then I explain what digital marketing is. I explain how it works, and so on and so forth. Then I explain what's the benefit for them, how to make $10,000, and I explain how that works. So I explain these 2 examples. Then I tell them that they're probably wondering, how do they stand out? So I explain to post for impact versus posting to post. There's nothing worse when you can see that people are posting just to post versus posting for impact. So I go over that, and I show them examples of how in my page, and I recommend them to go back to my page after the live, so that I can, one, get them to follow me, get them to get more views and all of that. So I'm always sending people back to my page. Uh, and then I also tell them that this will help them get their time back, and that if they have any questions, and if they have to leave, to just simply ask their questions, and that they can email me once they go to my domain. That I constantly give them my domain throughout the live. And then keep in mind, throughout the live, I'm always acknowledging the main thing, that is that I'm always making people feel significant when they come into the live. Where are you coming in from? How is the weather? Where are you coming in from? Hello, user 123. Hello. And then you're also going to have the trolls that are going to be insulting. It's just a scam. Well, thank you for your perspective. At the beginning, I don't always ban them, but then if they get out of hand, I do ban them. And then I talk about how to attract 24 clients, so that I can make 20, so that people can make $10,000. And then I explain that this is based on $425, because UBC pays 85%. And then I explain how they're going to be gaining the knowledge of how to build an email system, how to build a brand, and how to stop trading time for dollars. And again, do your best to not use the word money. And then I explain why I chose digital marketing, and why I chose to do something that works for me 24/7. Then I talk about why getting my time back is so important. And then I briefly talk about my dad, and my story with my dad, spending the last 3 months with him. I also talk about, imagine what it would be like if, and then I go through this here. And then if I were Michael Amaz, then I would say, as a father of 2 and a husband to 1, in a blue collar working crazy hour, I needed something where I didn't have to bug my friends and family, and it could be automated. Then I'd remind them again of my domain. I remind them to go there now if they have to leave. And then I tell them that what I'm going to be sharing with them, that I'm going to be sharing the 5 simple steps that make this happen. How to promote a done for you digital product, how to create relatable content, post for impact, not post to post, how to automate the business, how to get my business discovered by my ideal clients, by my ideal clients, because you can get found by other people, but if you're not found by your ideal client, then it's all for nothing. And then I explain, because a lot of people have a fear of rejection. So then I explain as to how this is a rejection-free business because it's automated, it's all online. And then I also explain to them that this is very easy to do, but at the same time, because it's easy to do, it's also easy not to do. And then I tell them how you can that this is going to help them be able to start and launch their business because it's all done for them. And then I go and I teach them that UBC has everything, and then I show examples inside of UBC, and then I show them that you can have it all up and running within 2 days. And then I tell them that UBC is going to give them everything that they need to get started. And then I show them the power of building an email list and what other people have done. If you don't have any of the experience that I'm talking about, then I talk about what other people have done. So because the experience doesn't have to come from you, it has to be something that has happened for others or for yourself. And then you give them tips throughout the life that you want to create a domain, as I've taught you many times, that is easy to spell, that it is a .com, and that is frictionless and is easy to remember. Must be a .com. Because the harder it is to spell, the harder it's going to be for people to remember it, especially at the beginning. And then you keep reminding them that you have that this was a hot tip because it's easier to remember. Then you remind them as to what UBC will help them attract clients to them daily, and keeping them in mind that there's going to be distractions everywhere, and you explain what the kind of distractions. And you're going to explain that sometimes you have to test that for you started out in Instagram, but then you realize, working with a coach, that you realize that TikTok was going to be better for you. So then I just go through that. I go through the hot tip. I go through that. I keep reminding them about the distractions that they're going to be possible, and that again that they're going to have to test different things to see what works, because what works for one person may not work for another person. And you had to test the people that you were attracting. So that's where we went into blue collar workers that are dads. And then we give the example that if some people are trying to lose weight, not everybody's going to do everything that it takes in order to actually lose weight. And then if everybody's not going to do everything that it takes to get better at sports, so people do the same thing when it comes to digital marketing. Not everybody does what it takes. So if they want to make $10,000, then all they have to do is find 24 new clients, and then they would be making over $10,000. But the reason people don't make extra income, and I need to remove money, income, is because they don't do the right activity. They might do a bunch of post to post, but not the right activity. And then you remind them that if they're skeptics, they're never going to have success, because they're always going to be looking for what's wrong with everything. But if they're here to learn and to ask questions, then that's different than being a skeptic. Not a skeptic, but just need more info, or have more, or need more clarity. So getting more clarity is fine, but it's when people get into just being skeptical, if this is a scam, clarity, into this is a scam and all those nonsense. So you tell them, if you're skeptics, then this is not for you. But if you just need more information, if you need more clarity, ask away all your questions. And this is, you keep reminding them, you keep taking it away from them. This is not for everyone, but if you're here, and if you're still here, then you came here for a reason. So you focus on what a lot of skeptics focus on, what's not working, versus focusing on what is working, and testing different things to see what works. Then you're going to talk about that if you're a skeptic, it will take them longer to make money, more to make income, because they're in their head versus in their heart to be able to find the people that are looking for them. And then you constantly ask them, remind them that if they have any questions, to ask the questions, and that's why you came live, to help them and support them. And then you realize that you need it, that I realized that I needed to connect more. So I started going live. So this is actually for Michael Amas, that for a long time he wasn't really talking much on his TikTok. So he realized he wanted to make more connection with blue collar workers. So he made the decision to start going live and then make more income online. You're going to keep explaining over and over. You're going to sound like you're going to feel like you're a broken record, but different people circulate throughout the live. It's not like a person is going to stay with you the entire time, and then you're going to give a testimony and you're going to show it inside of the community. That's why it's necessary to have two devices, one where you are using it to go live, and then second, and I did a whole training, as you know, as to all the things that you need to know in order to go live. And then you remind them that you're going to help them understand how to discover their perfect client, because they're probably wondering, wait a second, how do my perfect clients find me? If you're scrolling without making extra income, then what made you stop at this particular video? So then you go about explaining about that and what made you stop, and then you give the story about that. And then if they're just scrolling without actually making an impact, then they're literally leaving money on the table. And then you tell them the secret to all of this is daily consistency. And that daily consistency means that they're going to be getting better every single day, but they have to show up daily, just like the way you have. And that if they don't have conviction about what they're promoting, then it's going to show up in their content. And then I want to help. And then you tell them the story. Again, this is specifically for Michael Amas. I wanted to help blue collar working dads to have more time with their kids. And then you want to remind them, nothing will change if nothing changes. This only works for you if you work it, like going to the gym. And then you want to say things that are just genuine to you. So like when I was promoting the secret sauce with UBC and Roadmap, everybody knew that I was talking about Roadmap, the UBC. I was talking about fascinating humans. So there were things that I would normally say. So you want to pick things that you say all the time. And then when I have a fascinating human show up that they're being nasty, then I call them fascinating, right? I fear more. Okay, so then you talk about what people focus on the wrong fears. I fear more of not having more income versus continuing to trade more time for income versus just being able to have an automated system work for me. And then I remind them that all of this takes time, but quitting is not an option. And then I remind them that I set my goals and I read them regularly, and that I'm doing this so that someone like me, a blue collar worker, can find me more easily because of my content, because my content is designed for them. And I remind them that everything is going to go through phases, from the conscious incompetence where you feel so dumb that you're doing things that look really terrible, and then eventually you become unconscious competence. Like right now, this is your first live and you're going to be terrible at it, and you tell them, I'm terrible at this because I've never done it before, but I'm proud of myself for showing up. And then you're going to talk about, imagine making a sale and getting paid directly to your bank account. I will still remember my first sale. All of us remember your first sale. So you made a sale and you talk about that. Imagine being able to make and getting paid directly. That was a dupe right there. I think I was supposed to say something different. If you need to leave, make sure that you go to, and then you give them the domain, because remember, go to domain. So you're constantly reminding them to go to the domain, to follow you, to tap, to comment. And then this is what we will do. This is what we will show. I have no idea what I meant on this one. This is what we will do. Do a track. Okay. So this is what we do. This is what we do. This is what we do. So we explain as to how we do attraction marketing by doing the intentional posting. And then we talk about finding their ideal clients by posting to your ideal clients, by knowing who your ideal clients are. And then there are two ways to make extra income to find your ideal clients. One is by posting free ads on free Facebook groups, and then posting to impact. Those are the ones that I have found. There's other ways, obviously, but those are the free ways that you can post to make extra income. And then the reality is that all of this takes time. It's not an overnight get rich quick, but in the economy and how TikTok has made it, anybody that takes this seriously can make extra income. So what does it take? It takes 2 hours, and it doesn't have to be 2 straight hours. It can be 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here to make an impact on working dads. And that's, that's because that's what you chose, blue collar workers. And then you talk about the 6 P's to paint the picture. The 6 P's that I gave you on the inside of the Get Clients Club, the playbook that gives you every single step that you need to do in order to produce effective content. And then I talk about the 6 P's on to be able to paint the picture. So then I go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I talk about each one of those. And then I talk about the power of automations, automations, and working for you and having your business work on autopilot. And then I break down the 30 minutes to make content, to make 3 videos, 1 hour for posting the videos, keeping in mind to just follow the blueprint that is inside of UBC. Otherwise, and to follow one method, right? One method, because if they're following all different people, they're going to be very confused, which happens to a lot of people, because there's a lot of ways to do this, but different people do it differently. So if they're trying to follow different people, they're going to have conflicting things that are all correct, but it's going to make it really hard for them to win. And then you're going to tell them that they always want to do a CTA, which is a call to action. Because if you don't let people know what they need to do next, people are not going to know what to do next. As a matter of fact, when I don't tell people to follow me, my following goes lower. And then you want to be consistent as to always have people have a call to action, and even if that just simply means to say, follow me. And then you always want to remind yourself and remind everyone that they're going to be terrible at the beginning, just like all of us were, just like a baby when they first start walking, they fall a million times, but you're not going to tell them just quit right now because you have fallen too many times. And then it's going to, you're going to talk about what changed your belief when you start seeing that people much less qualified than you were having massive success. And this is about, I also go about teaching about, this is about learning and earning versus learning and learning. And then I talk about briefly about the copy paste post method and how easy that is, which is the one that we did in Facebook groups. So you can do copy paste post method. It's a slower method because obviously people like people that they see here so that they can know, like, and trust. But then some people may need to do this at the beginning to just get started. And then I teach everybody to leverage the power of ChatGPT AI, so that as I've taught you that as well. And then I explain that nobody needs to be tech savvy, because all you need is very simple things. And then I don't go too much into that, because those that want it will go through whatever it is that needs to be done. And then I go about explaining that why video is king. But if some people are incredibly shy or terrified about going on video, that it is fine to get started with the copy paste post method, which you can is available inside of UBC. And that not everyone is going to be good for this. So if they feel convicted of being tired about being tired, then maybe they should get started. But this may not be good for everyone in the audience. And they need to know that they need to be able to plug into a proven system, but they need to set a goal, they need to ask for help, and they need to realize that they're going to become a better person truly because of this. And that if they want to make extra dollars and buy their time back, they're going to have to create content even when they don't feel confident. And then you're going to talk about UBC will teach you all about attraction marketing and how it works and how you go about creating, including making videos. And then again, you remind them, you constantly remind them, go to my domain, go to my website, go to, and then you actually say the name of it. You may have to say it 100 times. So you know, like for instance, I would say go to alldayfreedom.com, go to alldayfreedom.com, go to alldayfreedom.com. And then you talk about how you just you want to take 3 minutes to briefly reintroduce yourself, just for the people that came in now. So you just briefly tell about you're a father, a boy and a girl, husband to one, you're a blue collar worker, even though you do financially well at your business. And then you tell your story, like the sweat story, the hot, the cold, people that other blue collar workers are like, me too, me too, me too. And then you talk about why the heck am I here? Why is it that what makes me credential, meaning that you're a hard worker, you're a husband, you're a dad, you're all these different things. So you talk about that. And then you try to be entertaining in the way that you could be entertaining. I don't sing, I don't dance, but I entertain them with education. And then you want to be interested in what people are showing you, but you also want to be interesting by not sounding lame and not having energy. You want to show up with good energy so that people are know that you're making an effort. Because like if you're frumpy, you're not talking clearly and all of that, that is also going to affect you. Then you're going to continue talking about what you used to think about social media and TikTok. So like, for instance, with me, I thought that I was never going to go on TikTok because I was never going to go dancing or lip singing. And then I realized that it wasn't anything like that. And so this is a picture that reminds me as to what I used to think what TikTok was versus what it actually is. And then I remind them as to how having been consistent has helped me make consistent more income. And then I go into doing testimonials. So you want to have a series of testimonials ready for you with pictures and everything from UBC that you're going to share. So at this moment, you're going to share 4 testimonials, and then you're going to talk about that there are many challenges that everyone is facing right now, and challenges uh, that you can imagine how it would feel if you completely knew that your marketing could actually bring you more awesome clients. So done for you, digital marketing makes it easier for you to do more easily. And then you're going to talk again about the 5 simple steps on how to make all of this happen. You're going to talk one by one, and you're going to explain how to choose the right digital product, how you want to choose UBC. And then you're going to be like, okay, here's the real truth. You don't need to be great at making content. You don't need to be great at techie stuff. You don't even have to be confident right now, but you do need to start, right? You need to start. So then they're probably thinking, okay, where do I start? Well, you just start. You can only I can only choose to tell you what I can only tell you what I chose and why I chose it. So then you talk about why you chose UBC, what the things that you had tried in the past, so people can be like, yeah, me too, me too, me too, me too. And then you're going to talk about that. You never trash anybody else. You just focus as to why you chose those products and why you chose to focus on UBC, because obviously it's the power of one, Gary Keller, to focus on just one thing. And you're going to say, and yes, I'm incredibly shy, I'm an introvert, so this is also made for introverts and shy people, because I would rather be doing this than going door to door to talk to people in their homes, or talk to or do cold calling. So this is for the shy people. Lots of people shy and introverts have done it, and actually that is why they do it, because they are shy and introverts. And then you're going to show again results from other people. And then how to start even if you are terrible at doing all of this. UBC makes it possible that you can start even when you're terrible. Life is too short, so just break the rules. If you actually, I don't like this one. How to make it even if you think you're stuck. You're just going to test, as if and you're gonna do everything as if you were talking to a friend, and you're gonna test to see what works, what doesn't work, because Unless you test it, you're not going to know what works. Okay. And then you're going to talk about step 2, and then you're going to go over that step. You're going to talk about the 6 P's and why they work, and why you need to start. You need to be really focused on who your ideal client is, and talk to that person as if they were sitting right across from you, and you were telling them. And you're going to go into story time. You're going to connect. Remember to always be connecting with your audience. This is really, really important. People get so focused on what they're trying to say, or they have very loud music, or they have very loud sounds like a fan, and it's very distracting, and people are just going to scroll away. Then you're going to talk about step 3, which is automating your business and the power of automating your business, and you're going to show the one that we did for you. And then you're going to talk about all the benefits about automating your business. And then you're going to tell a story again. And then you're going to talk about step number 4, which is how to get discovered by your ideal clients. Well, first, you need to know who your ideal client is. So you go over the 6 P's, and you're going to talk about why you chose your ideal client and what you went through, because people will remember stories. They won't remember the details, but they will remember stories. So you're going to talk about how you came about realizing who your ideal client is. And then you're gonna again show stories, show pictures, and you want to have these prepped ahead of time. Then you're gonna go to step 5. Step 5 is getting the clients and start earning $425 each time, because you make 85%, and you're gonna explain all of that. Then you're gonna talk about the state of the economy. You're gonna show news about the layoffs, about inflation, about recession. So you're gonna already have pre pre-planned things that are in the news in the last 30, 60 days, whatever, about things that are not um political, but just facts as to the unemployment rate, inflation, pricing, and all of that. And then how do we thrive during times like this? Leverage, right? And then you talk about leverage and the power of digital marketing, the power of attraction marketing, the power of automations, and then that you have to be disciplined. In order for you to make all of this work, you have to be disciplined. Then you're going to give another story. You're going to talk about how you love to keep your promises. So you had told them that, Maria Lupita, can you please help me about what you would recommend in terms of how to make extra income online? So you're like, I promised, I'm gonna tell you more stories about UBC and why I chose UBC and how to go about getting stories. And then again, you're gonna tell more stories about the stories that you chose ahead of time. And then you're gonna come to the end. You're gonna get, now you have a choice. You have a choice to do nothing and continue suffering in silence, or to choose to go with me and get on with UBC and start making extra income online and start automating your business. So this is your special invitation. And then I go through this, and then I go through all the things that are the benefits of UBC. Let me see, hang on a second. You go through all the UBC benefits. Hang on a second. All the benefits. So you talk about the benefits about UBC, you show the community, you show the classroom, you show the calendar, you show the mindset calls, you show them how it's zero money down and only $44 a month after that. And then you show them that this is how you put it all into action. Then you actually show them you like the steps as to this is where you put your email in my funnel. This and obviously you're not gonna say the word funnel, because that's gonna confuse people, but you're just saying this page. So you use words that people can understand, and you're gonna show all the benefits about UBC. You're gonna explain the creators that are inside UBC. You're gonna explain the extra value, and then you're gonna make them an irresistible offer that is not bought through UBC, but it's an offer that they can only get if they go through Michael himself and if they buy right now. So every month there's mindset support calls. So this is one of the bonuses that they have just from UBC, but you're gonna have to make offers like I made you, like I make my clients. You haven't seen some of my offers, but some of my clients, when they purchase my products, they get extra benefits. So you're going to talk about the benefits that they're going to get, like I discussed it with you and Liam when we talked about the special offer. And then you're going to show them the calendar and what it looks like. You're going to recap again everything that they're getting, and then your irresistible offer that they're going to get when they join with you. And they're going to tell them the real value of what people would have to pay would be thousands and thousands of dollars in order to get everything that you get through UBC. But today you can get started for $0 today. It's a one-time purchase. So you can start today by going to, and then you give the name of your domain. And then again, the real world value of this is more than thousands and thousands of dollars. And get started today. Zero money down, or you can keep suffering in silence and blah blah blah. You're gonna tell them again to sign up to get started, not sign up, start 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 now, start now. And then you're gonna remind them of the domain. If all, and then you're gonna tell them, look, if all UBC did is that it helped you write over $10,000 on taxes, then it would totally be worth it. And then show them how to get started with your phone. So you literally show them, go here, put your email here, blah blah blah, and then remind them that they're making a great decision to get started today. And then remind them, why are you here? Why did you show up today? You showed up today because even though you're incredibly busy, you came here for a specific reason. Perhaps you feel stuck, and then you go through this. Perhaps you're tired and you talk about this. Perhaps you want more and then you talk about this. You obviously want to make a change, and UBC is that opportunity. You might have doubts. I know digital marketing is the answer and the solution for me to solve my business challenges, but you may have the doubt number one, that I don't know how to do this right now, and then you cover that doubt. Then you have the doubt number two, and then you cover that. You go number three, and then you cover that. You explain, you answer, you make them feel at ease about that. And then again, you show all the support that they're going to be getting by being in the community, so that no question ever goes unanswered. And then you're going to show them the replays in the classroom. And again, you're going to recap all the things that they're getting. Plus, they're going to get, remember, they're going to be getting the extra bonuses of the $12,000 in the $12,000 in a month. I mean, the $12,000 of extra. So you want to explain all of that, because this stuff doesn't just happen. So you have to remind them. They're not going to remember everything that you're telling them. So you're going to talk about all the bonuses, extra, that only come from you. And then you're going to talk about, each one of this bonuses that you're going to give them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're going to be excited about those bonuses. And then you're going to go tell them more stories. And then that's the end of it. So if you have questions, so then you remind them at the end. Not only do you give them more storage, you remind them, hello, my name is first name, last name. This is my domain. Make sure that you follow me. And then you tell them what's your schedule, so they can be looking forward to visiting with you. Again, if you're only going to go live 3 times a week, then you're going to tell them, I'm going to come on this day at this time. Make sure that you read the terms and conditions, and remind them that you're going to come back live, and then remind them that if they were on your live, was there for a reason, so they might as well take action. Otherwise, nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you have questions, reach out to me. But now it is almost midnight, but I will load up this training and I will post it inside of our iAccess and Get Clients Club. And that's all for now. I'm out of